Baik, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi semuanya. Perkenalkan, saya dengan Ibu Ati Sumiati, SPD MM, selaku dosen dari Program Studi Pendidikan Akuntansi Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Negeri Jakarta. Baik, saya selaku dosen pembimbing 2 dari mahasiswa yang bernama Imelda Citra Maharani, yang pada kesempatan kali ini akan memaparkan tentang judul seminar proposal skripsinya yang berjudul Pengaruh Motivasi Belajar dan Sarana Prasarana terhadap Kemandirian Belajar Siswa pada SMK Negeri 22 Jakarta. Baik, kepada Ananda Imelda Citra Maharani dipersilakan untuk menyampaikan serta memaparkan hasil dari penyusunan proposal skripsinya. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Praise and gratitude I pray to the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His grace, I can make a video about my thesis research proposal. Before I start this presentation, I would like to thank to Mr. Fasla as the coordinator study program, Mr. Dr. Puji Wahono as supervisor 1, and Mrs. Ati Sumiati as supervisor 2, who always guide me in making this thesis research proposal. Let me introduce myself. My name is Imelda Citra Maharani from Office Administration Education Study Program, Faculty of Economy, University of Jakarta. Today, I will presentation about a thesis research proposal entitled The Influence of Learning Motivation and Learning Infrastructure on Learning Independency of Students at Vocational High School 22, Jakarta. In this presentation, I will discuss about 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is preliminary, Chapter 2 is literature review, and Chapter 3 is research methodology. The background of this research began with one of Indonesian education goals is developing student potential to become an independent human research. This is also stated in Rencana Pembangunan Jangka Menengah, one of which concerns improving the quality of human research so that they have an independent character. However, in reality, students are often passive in learning activities. This problem is reflected in the result of the survey conducted by 2018 Program for International Student Assessment or PISA. Indonesian education ranked 72 out of 77 countries. This is in line with data published by the World Population Review in 2021. In Indonesia, education is ranked 54 out of 78 countries. Learning independence is important for students to have, which can make the student achieve a learning goal according to their ability and not depend on others. This was even more obvious during the COVID-19 pandemic. UNESCO report the COVID-19 outbreak is disrupting at least 1.6 billion students worldwide. Reporting from Compasiana.com, student learning independency during distance learning show negative initiatives, such as not participating in learning, turning off the camera, or leaving the learning platform without the teacher permission, and being passive during discussion. This is in line with the research of Niema and Kosa 2020, where students feel tired and tend to be less independent in learning. According to Prianto 2021, the high open employment rate, especially from vocational school, indicate a gap in knowledge and incompatibility with the goals of vocational school, namely to prepare the graduates who are competent, productive, and independent. There are features that state the students who are at the university have a higher level of independency than the students who are in the middle school, like vocational school. This phenomena is a problem in itself that the low level of student learning independency at the middle school, like vocational school, will certainly have a negative impact on the sustainability of the learning system and in the future. So, independent learning at the middle school, such as vocational school especially, it's very important to be pursued more seriously, systematically, and programmed. Based on that background, the researcher conducted pre-research to determine the level of the learning independency of students at Vocational High School 22 Jakarta. The result of the pre-research showed that only a few students studied the material that had been explained by the teacher, with 33.3% students choosing never. Furthermore, 36.7% of students choose never to try to do their own assignment. Next, 40% students do not have the initiative to learn on their own, and learning independency is not yet reflected because 40% students choose never and 30% students choose sometimes because they are not used to make their own study plan. From the overall result of the pre-research conducted by the researchers, it can be concluded that the level of learning independency of student vocational high school 22 Jakarta is relatively low. According to Hamalik, the factors that can influence learning independency are divided into three. From this factor, the researcher made initial observation of students at Vocational High School 22 Jakarta regarding which factor had more influence on student learning independency, so that researcher could use the factor to be used as variable that could be measured in the study. Based on the result of pre-research, it was found that the factor the most influence in independence learning is learning motivation with 21% and infrastructure with 20%. Every study certainly has a difference or novelty that can be used as a uniqueness of the research. Being conducted, the novelty of this research with the previous studies, there are relevant include, first is research time. Their research was conducted after the COVID-19 pandemic. Second is research place, and the research was conducted in Vocational High School 22 Jakarta, where previously many studies on learning independency were conducted at university level, such as research conducted by Sudarwo 2018, Tuhidi 2019, and Avandi 2022, and sampling technique with proportionate stratified sampling. Next is research question. First, is there any influence between learning motivation on learning independency of students at Vocational High School 22 Jakarta? Second, is there any influence between infrastructure on learning independency of students at Vocational High School 22 Jakarta? Third, is there any influence between learning motivation and infrastructure on learning independency of students at Vocational High School 22 of Jakarta? And research purpose is analyze the effect of learning motivation on learning independency of students at Vocational High School 22 Jakarta. Second, to analyzing the effect of infrastructure on learning independency of students at Vocational School 22 Jakarta. Third is analyzing the effect of learning motivation on infrastructure on learning independency of students at Vocational High School 22 Jakarta. According to knowledge, learning independency is a process where individuals are fully responsible and take the initiative in diagnosing learning needs, formulating learning goals, identifying learning research, and evaluating learning outcomes. According to Sternberg, students who have learning independency can manage their self-responsibility even though there is no supervision from parents or teachers. According to Clayton, learning motivation is the tendency of students to carry out learning activities that are driven by the desire to achieve the best possible performance. According to UNO, motivation to learn is internal and external equivalent for students who are learning to make change in behavior, generally with several indicators or supporting elements. And according to Suhelyati, facilities are direct tools that are used, while infrastructure is tools that integrally become a support in achieving learning objectives. And according to Bafada, facilities are all devices, material, and furniture that are directly used in the educational process at school. And infrastructure is device that indirectly support the educational process at school. Learning independency variable can be measured based on the following 5 indicators. First is behave based on initiative. Second is confident. Third, responsible. Four, behave in discipline. And 5, have strong self-control. Next is learning motivation variable can be measured based on the following 6 indicators. First is desire to be success. Second is encouragement and need for learning. Third is future hope and inspiration. Fourth is learning reward. 5, interesting activity. And 6, conducive learning environment. Next is infrastructure variable can be measured based on the following 6 indicators. First is a range of school building. Second is quantity and quality of classroom. Third is library function. Fourth is classroom and laboratory facility function. 5 is availability of textbooks. And 6, optimization of media or learning aids. Next is previous research. First is the influence of learning facility and student motivation toward the learning independency by Sudarwo et al. 2018. There is a positive and significant influence between learning infrastructure and motivation on learning independency. Next is pengaruh motivasi belajar, sarana prasarana, efikasi diri dan penyesuaian diri terhadap kemandirian belajar. By Sari et al. 2018, there is a simultaneous influence of learning motivation infrastructure on learning independency of 69.4%, and meanwhile, partially learning motivation is 13.18%, and learning infrastructure is 3.17%. And next is faktor yang mempengaruhi kemandirian belajar mahasiswa di Indonesia pada masa pandemi COVID-19 by Avandi 2022. There is a positive influence between learning infrastructure and motivation on learning independency. And the last is the role of motivation strategies and perceived factor hindering Liberian Junior High School student learning by Gobrian and Kamu 2017. The result of the study show that motivation and learning infrastructure have an influence on the level of learning independency. Based on supporting theory and theoretical framework, research hypotheses can be formulated as shown on the screen. This research was carried out from December 2022 to May 2023. It can be seen in the picture. And this research was conducted at Vocational High School 22 Jakarta, located at Jalan Raya Condet, East Jakarta. This study used a quantitative approach with survey method through statistical analysis to test hypotheses and statistical analysis using multiple linear regression analysis. The population in the study were all students of Vocational High School 22 Jakarta with an affordable population of class 11, students of Vocational High School 20 Jakarta totaling 318 students from 4 skill programs. Sampling was carried out using proportional stratified sampling technique with the sloping formula. 5% error rate obtained a total sample of 178 students. The data collection technique used is the survey method through observation and filling out questionnaire or primary data, and measurement of the instrument through a Likert scale, which consists of 5 alternative answers, and the data analysis technique used multiple linear regression technique with the SPSS program tool. The stage of data analysis are: first is descriptive statistical analysis, second is instrument test, third test requirement analysis, 4 classic assumption test, 5 multiple linear regression analysis, and 6 hypothesis testing. That's all from the presentation of the research proposal that I can present. Sorry if there are any mistake. I really hope for critiques and suggestions, and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum.